AI is probably the most impactful technology we've seen since the internet itself, and it has every leader I know asking the exact same question. How in the world do we actually measure its value? So let's dive in and figure out how to do just that.
I mean, this is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? We're all implementing AI, we're investing, a ton of money and resources, but actually proving its return on investment? Sometimes that can feel like you're trying to catch smoke.
And hey, if you're scratching your head over this, you are definitely not alone. The vast majority of organizations out there are struggling to pin a real number on this incredibly powerful but seemingly intangible new technology.
But here's the big secret, the thing that changes everything. Measuring AI isn't really a new problem. It's actually a problem we've been solving for decades, just in a different wrapper. We just need to start thinking about AI in a new way, as a knowledge worker.
Just think about it for a second. How do you evaluate a person on your team, a knowledge worker? You look at their speed, right? How long does it take them to get a task done? You look at the quality, what's their error rate? And you look at the cost, their salary, the cost of any rework. Well, guess what? We can apply that exact same framework to an AI worker.
And don't just take my word for it. The measurement expert Doug Hubbard puts it perfectly. He says the fundamental metrics don't change. We are still looking at the time it takes, the number of errors, and the true economic bottom line. It doesn't matter if it's a human or an AI doing the work. The yardstick stays the same.
So you can really boil this whole thing down to 3 super simple questions. When you're looking at any AI project, just ask yourself, is it making us faster? Is it making the output better? And is it making the process cheaper? That's it. That is your go-to framework.
Okay, so we've got the framework. Simple enough, right? But before you can really put it to work, we need to talk about a little mindset shift. It's all about changing how we think about the very idea of measurement itself. This part is critical.
So let's get a little scientific for a moment. In science, measurement doesn't mean finding one single perfect 100% accurate number. It means reducing your uncertainty. The goal isn't perfection. It's just to know more than you did before you started.
And this is so important for anyone in a leadership position. You don't need to eliminate all doubt to make a move. You just need enough good information to reduce your uncertainty so you can make an objectively better choice. It's about progress, not perfection.
Which, of course, leads to a really fascinating question. If our main goal is to reduce uncertainty, where should we focus? Where do we point our measurement tools to get the biggest bang for our buck? The answer? Well, it might actually surprise you.
There's this phenomenon called the measurement inversion. As humans, we have this natural tendency to measure the easy stuff, the things we already have a pretty good handle on. But here's the problem. That data has low information value. The real gold, the most valuable insights are hiding in the messy areas, the high uncertainty variables.
And here is the punchline that just flips everything on its head. High uncertainty is your friend. It's an opportunity. Because think about it. If you know almost nothing about something, your very first data point is going to tell you a tremendous amount. Any measurement drastically reduces that huge initial uncertainty.
All right, so we've covered the faster, better, cheaper framework, and we've got the right mindset about uncertainty. Now, let's get practical. Here's a simple toolkit you can use to start measuring the value of AI right now.
First, let's just bust a few common myths about data that always seem to hold people back. 1, you almost certainly have more useful data than you think you do. 2, you need way less data than you probably assume to start reducing uncertainty. And 3, you might just need to start looking at different kinds of data than you're used to.
All right, now look at this number, 37%, just hanging out there on its own. What could that possibly represent in the world of AI?
Well, here's the story. A randomized controlled trial found that professionals who used AI to help them write reports finished, you guessed it, 37% faster. And not only that, but the quality of their reports was graded as being significantly higher. I mean, that is a perfect, tangible example of the faster, better framework in action.
So how do you get numbers like that for your own team? It's a pretty straightforward 3-step process. First, just make a list of potential use cases for AI in your workflows. Second, and this is the most critical part, measure your current performance. What's your speed, quality, and cost right now? And third, you have to establish that clear baseline. Without that before measurement, you have no way to prove the value of the after.
Now let's zoom out a bit.
Because connecting these measurement techniques to high-level strategy helps you decide not just if AI is valuable, but when to invest. This is all about playing the long game.
So here are two really powerful strategic concepts. On one hand, you have technology regret. That's that sinking feeling of investing too early only to see a much better, cheaper version come out 6 months later. The alternative is creating a technology option. That means you're doing the small-scale measurements now, getting prepared, so you're ready to act fast and with confidence when the time is right. Good measurement helps you choose your moment.
We hear so much about first-mover advantage, but if you really look at business history, the real prize often goes to the fast follower, the organization that lets the pioneers make all the expensive mistakes, learns from them, and then enters the market with a superior, more refined approach.
Of course, the other side of the value coin is risk. And just like value, risk can and should be measured. This can be anything from immediate concerns like quality control and security all the way to longer-term issues. The key is to quantify both the probability and the potential size of a loss.
So let's wrap this all up. What are the absolute key takeaways you need to start measuring the real value of AI in your organization?
Here are the 4 big ones. Number 1, anything can be measured, and that absolutely includes AI. Number 2, embrace high uncertainty. It's an opportunity that makes things easier to measure, not harder. 3, your very first step is always to benchmark your current state. And 4, always use that simple, faster, better, cheaper lens to guide your evaluation.
AI's growth is not just fast, it's accelerating. The rate of change is itself getting faster. So the critical question for every leader is this: is your ability to measure it keeping pace? Because in this new era, those who can measure can manage, and those who can manage this transition, well, they're the ones who are going to win.